Morning, everyone. Boker Tov. So we're continuing with the halachot of a non-Jew doing work for you on Shabbat, and how does that work out in certain situations. So over here in the notes, we bring down from Rabbi Ovadia Yosef, which discusses the question of the non-Jewish worker that works in a synagogue to clean up and maybe even turn on the lights, turn off the lights. So he addresses how that works out. So number one, he says, is when you hire the person. Let's say he talks about specifically turning on and off the lights. Here, actually, we don't have that. We don't have that issue, as we leave the lights on the entire Shabbat, because the non-Jew that we hire doesn't work at night, so and they're on the whole time. But it's understandable that other shuls, maybe bigger shuls, that the lights much more expensive, etc. So they turn off the lights after everyone leaves Friday night, and turn on the lights again in the morning. So how does that work out with Shabbat? So he says what you got to do is, when you originally hire the person, you tell him, you don't tell him. Thing is, because we said yesterday, you can't tell the non-Jew to do melacha for you on Shabbat. When it's something that's forbidden for you to do, he can't do based on your request. So what you tell him is, look, throughout the week, the guy, he works for you throughout the week. So throughout the week, anytime the lights are not supposed to be on, make sure they're not on. Anytime the lights are supposed to be on, make sure that they're on. So he knows on his own, he could deduce on his own that includes Shabbat as well. Not that you specifically tell him on Shabbat, make sure that the light is on Shabbat or not on Shabbat. You kind of make it general, and he has to make that own conclusion on his own, and then that's where it could work out. In addition, he says, when it comes to the pay, and this, I don't know exactly, maybe I'll have to tweak it after this halakha, is the pay for that non-Jew also ideally should be not per hour, because then you're literally telling him, okay, I want you, these hours you're working on Shabbat, etc. As opposed to he got paid for the month. Yes, he's got to be here on Shabbat to do things, but it's kind of all included in what he does the rest of the week as well. Now, one of our ladies from our community that listened to the recording asked me a question yesterday. They're making a bar mitzvah soon, and they have a caterer. They're going to do it at Petach Tikva, in the hall, and the caterer uses non-Jewish waiters and waitresses, etc. She's like, how does that work out? So there it's even more lenient, because the waiters and waitresses are not doing anything that's not allowed on Shabbat. To walk around and serve people on Shabbat is fine. They're not doing anything they're not. Now, if let's say you say, well, how did they get to the job? Right? Let's say they drove there. You told them in advance, we want you to be here at this and this time. So here's another point where when they're doing it for their own benefit, then it's their own benefit. You didn't tell them, please drive to the site, but they did it on their own. They could maybe walk. It'll take them a few hours, maybe wherever they live. They're doing it on their own. So too, when you tell them after, let's say in shul, make sure that, say there's a Shabbat, there's a bar mitzvah, a lot of candies are thrown, etc. So we tell, Jonathan, our cleaner, make sure that it's clean for mincha. So he could go around, pick it up with his hands, but if on his own, or broom, but if on his own he takes a vacuum, that's him doing it on his own. So now it shouldn't be done in front when the people are here, because then it might look like the Jews commanded him, hey, take the vacuum and vacuum. But if he's doing it on his own, so that's where a lot of these things fall into. If he's doing things on his own, he's doing things on his own. Many times I was in hotels in Israel on Shabbat, and so now the caterer also, in the kosher caterers, of course, everything's cooked before Shabbat. Everything in the kitchen is on warmers, etc. So it's all no melacha is happening on Shabbat. No violations are happening in the kitchen on Shabbat, or else you can't eat the food or whatever it is. So, but sometimes you go and a non-Jewish waiter, like an Arab guy, comes to you and says, okay, we have a few choices for today, even on Shabbat. Would you like chicken or meat? So when you say meat, chicken, meat, he'll take out a pen and paper and start writing. So now, okay, so doing it in front of the Jew, that maybe there's a little bit of marit ayin, but the thing is, he's doing it on his own. Because some people, waiters, can remember on their own. That's for his own convenience. I didn't tell him to write it down, but he's doing it on his own. So that's where it becomes lenient, because the non-Jew is doing it on his own. Okay, so those are a few extra points when it comes to non-Jews and working on Shabbat, and how it could kind of work out again if the non-Jew is doing it on his own, and the commands that you command him is not a specifically on Shabbat. Yes, turn on the light on Shabbat, turn off the light on Shabbat. Just you're working here all week. Whenever you turn it on, whenever things are supposed to be on, make sure they're on. And he deduces on his own that Shabbat is included, then that is okay. Okay, that's that for today. Minchat tonight at 5 p.m. And after Shachri, we're heading to the cemetery for the end of the Shiva, Mr. Charlie Aberjel of Shalom. And I think officially called for 9 a.m. We're heading out after Shachri. Whoever can join, that'd be greatly appreciated. Have a good day, everyone. Tana Deviliyahu.